Sup guys, my name is Fico and this is my gaming mind, and today I give my opinion about Edge's recent article revealing something very interesting happening to the next generation Microsoft console. Are you ready? Now, first of all, I'd like to say thanks to everybody that watched the video before when I ranted a little bit about Superbot. That one was a little bit of a rant that I had planned, but I do admit that if I sounded like I said a couple of things that you went like, what? It was because it was sort of like planned at the last moment, but I will state to my opinion that it was just my personal opinion. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. And I appreciate everybody that's watching and leaving comments. I like interacting with people and, well, whatever. But first, let's talk about a little bit about what we're here for. And that is to talk about the Xbox 720, the Xbox 2, Project Durango, whatever you want to call it. This is a very interesting subject because not of what the console is, but about what the console is going to expect of you to do, as if the sources from Edge have anything to say about it. Now, I myself haven't read much of what Edge has written because, I mean, I kind of just knew about them, but I forgot about them. I go to other sources like Joystick and anything else, but from what I've heard, what they say seems to always be fairly accurate. So if they say something is what it's supposed to be, well, a lot of people take in question and they'll go by, oh my god, it's gotta be true, right? Well, before we get started about what ultimately it is that they were talking about, basically, let me just read off the specs of what they claim the next Xbox is going to be. The next Xbox apparently is going to have, and this is directly from the website, a 1.6 gigahertz 8-core AMD processor, 800 megahertz GPU, and 8 gigs of RAM. Now, it also says that it's going to have a 50 gig Blu-ray player in it, and it's going to come with its own Kinect. An upgraded version of Kinect supposed to come in bundled in with the console, and you know, for what it sounds like, I've heard different specs as well, but from what it sounds like, it seems like Microsoft is aiming to turn the Xbox into a really beefy, basic Super P gaming PC, which, if you think about it, Microsoft is, the Microsoft Xbox 360 is basically like a gaming PC, but it created in a hardware form factor. Basically, if they can make games run just as beautiful as you would on a PC, I think that it would make the Xbox glorious. Also, I heard in the same article that developers seem to be getting a little bit more restrictive access to what they can do with this new Xbox, while in the people that are working with the PlayStation 4 or the Orbis getting basically freedom to code and do whatever they want. I don't know if that's true or not, but if that were the case, it does fall under something that I'd like to just talk real quick, and that is that if you restrict people to what you could do, you're gonna end up finding developers creating games but not with the whole range of what they know they could do with the console. Don't restrict people, just let them be, let them just create games, and you know, I don't think that you're going to have a problem with developers looking at, you know, the hardware that they're given. They're not gonna feel restrictive. Don't restrict. If that's true, Microsoft, please don't restrict. I'm begging you. I'm begging you, don't make jobs harder for people. But now, this is the thing that I'm going to talk about mainly, and that is the one thing in Edge's predictions, or at least the confirmed rumors according to them, that this next Xbox is going to be. Now, this is sort of similar to something that we heard a long time ago to PlayStation and its Orbis, but this is coming directly from Edge's, and this is not me, this is them. I'm not going to paraphrase or anything. I'm going to read you directly what Edge says. And they said that sources with first-hand experience of Microsoft's next-gen console have told them that the next Xbox will be absolutely committed to online functionality and that it will require an always-on network connection in order to function. And apparently also that it is believed that games purchased on disc, which will still be available, will also need activation codes to use them for the first time ever. So basically, if you buy a game for the 720, you will be given a code so that you can play it. Sort of similar to the season pass or the passes that you get in order to play multiplayer. If you get like a used copy of a game that is supposed to come with one of those, you can't use it. Sort of like Mass Effect 2 access to the Cerberus network. You need to buy a Cerberus network access if you bought a used copy of Mass Effect. That's just how it is. But in this case, this is similar to basically it's sort of like Steam almost, and I saw this IGN Beyond 20 minutes discussing all of this, and it made it sound like Xbox was going to become something similar to Steam. Now, throughout the research that I've done, the articles that I read, the videos that I've seen, I've compiled a couple of questions, and I pondered upon whether I wanted to do a two-parter for this, but I'm going to keep it to one part. It's going to be a little beefy for this video, but I'd like to just talk about some of the questions that I decided to I asked myself as I read them, as I read these articles, as I saw these videos, as I saw the discussion and the rumor mills and the confirmed things that Edge has already confirmed. I just asked a couple of questions, and I figured I'd just, plow through a few of these and just see my prediction with this. Now, the first question I asked myself is, Xbox 720 is going to require a network connection all the time. So basically, it is becoming sort of like Steam, where in Steam you do have an offline mode, but if you don't activate offline mode, or you set it, I think you can set it to a specific game or not. Don't call me idiot or not. I don't know for sure, but I do know that you can save your credentials and go into Steam and you can play games offline. I've never needed to use that because I always have an always-on connection. And well, I think what this means, and this isn't given too much detail on the articles or from what I've seen, but it does sound like you need to have an always-on connection so that you can go and play these games. It's almost like it's asking you to turn on your Xbox and your internet connection, and if you do not have an internet connection, you cannot play your games. It's obviously, if you sign into your Xbox account and you bought games, you won't be able to play the games you haven't bought. You can maybe just download a demo of them. So, okay, that would require an internet connection to download them. But to play them, I think you just need to authenticate with a server and then make sure that you're in. But I'd like to see that. Maybe, hopefully, there'll be an offline version of it. I'm seeing always online for this next question that I'm about to bring myself up to ask. One of the first questions that I brought myself up to asking was that when I read it was that it would basically put used games in the past, and I think this would totally be an awesome thing. It would suck for every single person that has their entire catalog with used games, but I'd like to think that they will come up with something. I'm thinking that it's going to be something very similar to the Orbis. That is, that they confirmed that if you bought a used game, that you will not be able to play this game until you've paid for a key to unlock the functionality of this game so that you could play it. Now that works really well. What I'm afraid of is what will happen for those of us who didn't get used games, who went to the overnights, opening nights for GameStop and got the games through Amazon brand new. What will happen with those games? How can Microsoft's servers or its system determine whether this game was in fact a game that you bought new or it was used? It's very strange. It sounds very weird, but I don't know how they'll be able to tell that, but I'm very afraid of that. But at the very least, if the game companies have used games away, I'm sure that they're going to strive. I do hope, because many game companies, they struggle because when they come up with a game, somebody finds it used in GameStop an hour later, and all of a sudden they don't make any money. GameStop makes money out of it. So I mean, it's not just GameStop. Anybody who sells used games will make money, not the game companies. That seems kind of wrong, but hey, that's why there's so many GameStops out there, because they offer used games and GameStop's making all that money. Now, another question I asked myself is, if the discs come with an initial use activation, will it not work on another console? Or do you need to log on to that other console to make it work? So if you take a game to another person's house with an Xbox 720, will that game not work? That's a question that they have to answer. I hopefully 3.3. If when you do this activation, will it be like Nintendo that'll have them locked into their console? Or this activation is going to be linked with your Xbox Live account? Simple. If it's locked into your Xbox Live account, then fine. It's going to be pretty cool. Then you'll be able to log into your friend's Xbox 720 and you'll be able to play that game. But then that arises the next problem. What if you don't have a network connection on their house? Will an always on connection, let's say for example Xbox 720 is on, you go in and then the network goes out, or there's a network outage, which is my next question I thought of myself. Does that mean you won't be able to play that game anymore? They need to explain how extensive this always active connection needs to be. How will it affect the entire gaming process? Will you be able to play games at all? Will it be like Diablo 3 that you cannot play even though you've installed all the files with a CD? Are you going to still need to log into Battle.net to just even play? Do you need an online connection to just get in? Can you not just do a cached login? No idea. Xbox saves your credentials if you choose to. Will that be enough? I have no idea. That's why they need to explain that. So the activation keys, will it be just restrictive to that? I have no idea. As you can see, a lot of the worries are because of this always on connection, but I'm a little worried. So I hope none of you guys are. I hope we get an explanation, but this is a lot of serious stuff. And also another question was about the Orbis and Sony's, will they do it as well? Now they explain, now through the Orbis it does seem as though this is going to happen, but let's say for instance that Microsoft stays with this. What would happen if Sony decides not to do this? I'll tell you what's going to happen. Sony is going to be very, very powerful because you will basically give them all the abilities to be able to do anything they want without needing a network connection. Now, if you make the people who need a constant connection on to be able to play your Xbox or to do anything, you are basically shutting out a large amount of people that do not have that always on cable connection, who are not blessed enough to be in a place where they have T1 connections, who may not have a FiOS connection. You are restricting a lot of people. But it does seem like Sony's gonna do that too, because Sony developers, I think, also feel that the used market is definitely killing a lot of what they could potentially make. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I am all for getting games the cheapest way possible. If you want to get a game, wait a year later and then get it at a little bit less, I'm okay with that. If you want to buy used games, I'm not gonna knock you down. You want used games, buy used games. Hell, when I used to shop at GameStop a lot when the holidays came, I used to take advantage of the 2 get 1 free game advantage. It's a great option for those who cannot afford to buy new games all the time. Now, with everything that they've said about it, they haven't announced a release date, but I predict that by E3 we're definitely going to get some answers. I mean, I didn't think that we would get something so soon, but by Microsoft opening this door and everybody in the game industry and the press is now like wondering how restrictive or how bad this always on connection is going to be. Definitely put themselves in a position where they have to clarify a little for us. And that's the end of my rant. Me personally, what I think if it's not a mandatory always on to do everything, I don't think it would be too bad. Me personally, it wouldn't affect me because I always have an always on connection. I mean, I pay for my own internet, and you know, most people also do that as well, so they're not going to be affected. But ultimately, what I think as a strategy, Microsoft could be shooting themselves in the foot. But if they do this correctly, I don't have any problems because the specs sound awesome, and I'm finally happy that they get a Blu-ray drive. I mean, I think PlayStation's had them beat for a while, but they've conceded, and I think if they could put more content on these discs, you'll be able to get more out of these games. So I do hope that, I do hope for the best. I'm always optimistic, but this could bite them back, so honestly. But here's the chance for you guys to tell me what you guys think. Do you guys think that this always on connection is good or bad? Or I mean, if there's like a reason why they're doing this, is it all because of the used games? Is it just for security? Is it just because they feel there's something more? I mean, they haven't elaborated much as to the why they're doing this. They just said that they were going to do this, so who knows why, but we'll find out soon. Like I predict, we're gonna see something announced on E3, maybe even earlier, hopefully, but if they don't, whatever. That about wraps everything up. Thank you for watching, and as always, if you like what you see, subscribe and show some love. And of course, always, if you have an opinion about any of my videos, leave comments below. Make them constructive, please. You guys have a great day, take care, and live long and prosper, because this is going to be an interesting wait.